Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Jyoth Reddy and today we are going to discuss about the ports. Wait, first of all, why we need to discuss about the ports? Why we need them? So, suppose let's say that you want to launch an attack or do a penetration test on a system where you only have its IP address, okay? But you can't even access it physically, all right? Then these ports come into play, right? So ports are the starting point of scanning, enumeration, and service exploitation. All right, and in this video, I'm going to explain you how they work inside the operating system, how services bind to ports, how attackers discover the ports using nmap, nessus, etc. Those are the tools, by the way. What kind of security protections exist to protect ports, okay? And if there is any ways to bypass those techniques, we will discuss that. And finally, you can use these techniques in ethical hacking, okay? Let's begin the video. A lot of people think that ports as holes in a system, but no, that is not true. Ports are integer values between 0 to 65,535. Okay, they help the OS to identify which process should receive the network data. Okay. Okay, now let's imagine that your computer as an apartment, and in apartment we have servants, right? And same in computer we have OS. What these servants do? They receive people and they send to the right door. Okay, and before that, assume that our apartment has approximately 65,000 doors. So our servants know where to send these people in that apartment. Likewise, OS in the computer knows from the data, I mean the data which it is receiving from the network, to send to which process by using these ports only. Okay. Okay, now let's talk technically that these port numbers is combined with IP address, and also TCP or UDP protocols are also added to that. Those three things, IP address, TCP or UDP protocol, and port number, is nothing but a socket. By using these sockets, the OS does the communication among the applications. Let's see the types of ports. We mainly have three types of ports. That means the ports are divided into three types. Okay, first one is a well-known port. So these are from 0 to 1023, and these are served for the core services like 22 for secure shell, 21 for file transfer protocol, 80 for HTTP. Okay, these are the ports you will see in almost every hacking scenario, right? Next, registered ports. These are from 1024 to 49,151, and these are used by the applications like databases, servers, game engines, like that. For example, 3306 for MySQL, 3389 for a remote desktop protocol, right? And finally, we have ephemeral ports or temporary ports. Okay, these range from 49,152 to 65,535. Your system uses these temporarily whenever it connects to a server. Okay. So now let's learn about the socket in OS. Okay, suppose you want to connect to a server where you are using any kind of, suppose, browser. Okay, so in your computer you are using a browser and it needs to connect to Google server. Okay, yeah, as a client, first of all, you need to establish a socket in your by your OS in your system, all right? Then it should communicate through that socket to the server. Okay, let's see here. I'm referring Geeks for Geeks. I can mention this link below in description. You can check it out if you want to learn more. And yeah, see, host is you. You created a socket with the IP address 146.86.5.28 with port 1625. Right? Then using internet. You connected to the socket in web server. Okay, like that the Google, and there it creates, suppose, 160 at 161.25.19.8 in port 80. All right, so by using these sockets the communication is being done. Okay, And the types of sockets are there are mainly two types. One is a datagram socket, another one is a stream socket. Datagram socket is a connectionless, like a UDP one. It just sends the data and receives packets. No connection is established. Coming to stream socket, it's like a TCP one. It creates a connection and it sends data without any errors like that. Okay. And here are few common function calls are there in socket programming. You can see bind, listen, connect, accept, write. These all function calls are used to create sockets and to communicate using the ports. All right. So far we discussed why ports are important, how ports are created, and how many ports are there, what kind of ports are there in an operating system, right? Now let's discuss why we are discussing about the ports. Why as an ethical hacker, we should know about the ports, okay? See, ports, we know that applications are running on these ports to communicate to other applications, right? So we are focusing on the application which is running on that port. That is important to know, to identify. That's why we focus on the ports. For example, port 445 running SMB version 1, then that is really vulnerable to Eternal Blue. You can easily exploit that SMB version 1 with vulnerability Eternal Blue. Okay. Or another example, you can say that suppose port 21 is running FTP, then sometimes it allows anonymous login where you don't require any authentication or any password to exploit that application in that port 21. So finding that ports and which applications are being run or taking that port is really important. By using other techniques, so we can find out the application versions. So by using the information about the versions of those applications which are being running in those ports, we can exploit them. That is the point here, to identify ports. Another example, you can say that 80 port 80 or 443 running outdated Apache or Nginx can allow RC, remote code execution. Simply you can know that if there is any Apache or Nginx running on those ports, then you can exploit that computer. In ethical hacking, the real question is not whether the port is open or not. The question is what service is behind that port, what version is it running, is it misconfigured or not, is it outdated or not. So that is the important one. Okay. Okay, now let's finish this video. And next video we are going to discuss what kind of security we should provide to ports so that any hacker couldn't recognize whether the port is open or not, or filtered like that. We will see so many things next video. See you soon.